How's it going, pioneers? This is mjkk613.14. Unofficial pie. Through my eyes, the way I see it. Want to touch base on there's probably a copycat pie out of China that there's been information floating around, posted, that they're using pie to buy big items, big ticket items, like houses, cars, that's not this project. There's always been an issue with copycats coming out of China, and don't buy the hype on these big ticket items and what they're, because it's not this project. It's all false information when it comes to this project. There's also, they posted last night, I think it's on Facebook, about Pi blockchain and its speed and everything else going on with it. It's also incorrect information. It's probably, I haven't looked in to see where it's coming from, but best guess is it's coming from that copycat out of China. Just the speed they were talking and everything else, it didn't fit this project. So if you happen to see it, it's false information, it's bad information. Okay. Let's just say, if you want official Pi information, what's going on, where's that? The Pi app is the first official place that Core will put information out. That, if it comes from Core, it's official, and it can be found on or in the Pi app. Then the social media pages, Pi does have official Pi social media pages. That would be the next place to research and look for official information. Okay. What I'm seeing is, and I don't know why it is or what's up. Google is not official Pi information. It's not. Google and Pi they're not affiliated, and the information that Google's posting is, I would say, probably 75 to 85% of it is incorrect information. So if you're going to research Pi, research the official sites. Research official paperwork or official announcements from Core Team. That's official information. Everything else I would treat as bad information, incorrect information for this project. Also, I think I'm starting to understand where these speculators and all of a sudden they're coming up with some kind of numbers for Pi. The testnet blockchain and supplies of Pi and everything else, okay, apparently you can access it through GitHub or whatever it is. I'm not sure where it's totally accessed, but the testnet blockchain is, the information is there. The amount of Pi, or the Pi going into the emulator or faucet, is there. You can find it, you can see it. But Pi is still in development, still in beta, even if it's testnet or whatever. It's still beta. Core is building, changing, adding, doing whatever, dApps and all of that. Testnet is the place, I mean, this is the last place to do that before it goes live. So you work out all the bugs, make what changes, make whatever improvements, whatever it is. Now is the time to do it. I don't believe when we go to mainnet that what Pi is around, circulating now or around now, those are not official numbers. They're, until Pi goes mainnet, and apparently there was a Genesis block written for testnet, but I believe that only covers testnet. When we go to mainnet, I believe Core will write another Genesis block for mainnet. Once that one is written, then all the numbers are official. But until we get to that point, don't count on what you see. Also, I mean, you can apparently you can see source code and whatever that's going on now. But now this is my opinion. I don't. It's been a long time since I did any program or whatever. But I'm going off of what I read out of the white paper, and the white paper doesn't match everything that can be seen right now. But from what I know from my history, we're dealing with a computer program. And while we're in beta or test or whatever you can see or look at now is not a final version. It's a test version. Now, going by the white paper and going by what I'm hearing that people are seeing, okay, I'm going off of what the white paper says, because that is the roadmap, the blueprint, the whatever that Core is using as guides to write Pi. To design, I mean, that's the design to create Pi, to write Pi, to make the protocol for Pi. So, in my opinion, what is being seen now is still beta. This is where we make the changes. But, you know, I get that because Core chose Stellar consensus to use as a foundation of the Pi protocol, they're using the node part of it, okay? And there are certain things that Stellar has that is going to have to be abided by, but it's a computer program, and if you can think of it, you can write it and make it happen. So I think, in my opinion, what people are seeing is not the final version, and I don't think it's a complete version, because the crypto market, just the crypto, is so competitive. It is so competitive that I don't think Core has put out everything that makes Pi Pi. I don't. Not yet. Once it goes live, then it's locked in. I mean, then it's Pi protocol. Until then, everything that Core has used from Stellar has already been open sourced. So to put it out now is still open. I mean, it's still open source. So there's nothing that can be stolen, tampered with, because security is still a high issue, and there's still a lot of garbage that needs to be cleaned up in Pi. So it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense to put out whatever part of your security or whatever new mining on mobile. It wouldn't make sense to put that out yet. So don't judge what you see today as a finished product. I don't think it's it. I don't, because what I'm hearing and picking up is there's a lot of pieces missing in what is being seen today and what is in the white paper. And the white paper is what Core is going by to write Pi. So need to not sweat and worry over what's being seen today and coins are out and doing this and doing that and whatever, because there's still things that need to be worked out. That's my opinion. It's not worth the aggravation or whatever seeing what you're seeing today. What can be seen today isn't don't get all twisted over it, because I believe it's going to change when we go mainnet. I do. I think because there's too many sections and pieces missing out of what can be seen. The mining, the referral rewards, how I think one of the issues is how the protocol is going to give us Pi every day? I don't know. I haven't. I mean, I read it, I see it, but I don't spend or waste my time or hang up on it, because Core knows how to do their job. They do. They know how to do their job. They know what they got going on. Now, so I don't have to worry about. All I need to worry about is being able to use what's in front of me. Probably 75–80% of the people, pioneers in Pi, don't have a clue about the tech, don't know programming, they're not focused on, they're not even giving that any thought. And they shouldn't, because the people that are doing it know their job. I'm going off the white paper, and that's what my drive is, and what I believe the capabilities of Pi are, come from reading and coming to an understanding of the white paper. And I don't have to worry about all the technical stuff, because Core's already taken care of it. And all I have to worry about is being able to use what I can see. And right now we need to understand what's in the white paper. We need to understand what Pi is, what its goal is. And because we're the ones that need to help this side of it get to where Pi's supposed to go. And it's getting better, but there's still the majority of pioneers, people, their thinking and their view and their whatever is off. We're comparing apples and oranges, okay? Because the way Pi is designed is economy. I mean, we can coin in all the tech and all this other stuff and use it and whatever. But to get to a functioning currency, functioning coin, is economy, building the economy, and then worrying about the exchange. And most people that know the space, know crypto, know whatever, okay, are under leaning towards the exchange. That's how everything is done prior to this, doing that. Well, if it were any other project, I would be on board and I would agree, and that's the way it's going to go and whatever. But through learning and time and experience and whatever it is being in Pi, that's not the way Pi is going to go. And I think I've said it a couple of times. The biggest eye opener for the people that were here at the time was when the in-app transfer started. That showed a lot of us what Pi is supposed to do and what it didn't do. And I feel with people coming in now, I mean, I wish they would first sit back, read stuff, get an understanding, then try to find some, because Pi has like 2.5 years of history behind it already. So there's a lot of things that have happened or transpired that really don't get talked about. Unless you dig deep, you're not going to find them. So, I mean, you can probably hit up any mod or anybody that knows what. We'll sit down. They'll sit down. We'll sit down and talk to you. I'll definitely. If you hit me up, I'll talk to you. Because the history that has transpired also plays in to how things are working today. I mean, I saw it, but I didn't really put the pieces together until a couple of nights ago. Okay, so if you need to learn Pi for Pi. What makes Pi different? What sets it apart from the other programs, the other cryptos and stuff like that? But you have to understand that Pi is still in development. Bitcoin launched in 2009. Pi hasn't launched yet. Pi is still in the blocks. still being developed, still being worked on, still being tweaked, still being whatever. So, to make a fair comparison between Bitcoin and Pi or any other project that's out there that is trading on the exchange and doing their thing on the exchange, whatever it is. Bitcoin has 12 years on. It has 12 years growth on Pi. Ethereum and a few others, they have 5 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years growth on Pi already. So, to compare, or to say, again, to compare Pi to any of these other projects, it's apples and oranges. It's apples and oranges. Yes, they've gone through their growing pains, and they're still evolving and doing their thing and whatever it is. Pi has not gone live yet. So, to say Pi needs this, Pi needs that, no, because where the issue is, nobody knows, and granted, it's still in development, and all we have is a white paper to go by. But understanding the white paper, okay, and not getting into their realm, just stay in ours. Okay. If we get the understanding of what Pi goal is and what Core is trying to accomplish and what Pi is trying to accomplish, and understand that, we would be steps ahead. Steps ahead. Because there's the philosophy and the thinking and the economic models and all that other stuff that are used today don't fit Pi. Never have. Because of why Pi is different. And people don't, I don't know what it is. I mean, most people will believe unofficial information from everybody else till it comes to Pi. I mean, when it comes to Pi, everybody is believing unofficial information is coming from an unofficial site, coming from somebody that doesn't know the program, doesn't know what Pi is looking to do. Okay, it's easier to believe that than it is where Pi is looking to go, or because it is. Pi it's a radical change of thinking. I mean, most people come in with the expectation of Pi going to the moon, and Pi, we're going to be billionaires and millionaires and all this other. It's all unreal expectation coming from the space that it is. And it's unfair to those projects, it's unfair to this project, and it's unfair to you. Because you're coming in already fired up and thinking that you're going to start trading and doing all the stuff that these other cryptos have done, and they have done it from startup, and that's how most people make their money, is on startup. That's how a lot of people lose their money, on startup. Because the ones that know the game are convincing the ones that don't know the game what they're supposed to do. And if the ones that don't know what they're doing get convinced that this is the way it's going to be, then the ones that know, I call them vultures and sharks and whatever it is, will steal from the ones that don't know. Because the ones that don't know will dump, and when they dump, the ones that do know will buy. Okay. So, these guys lose, these guys win. And that's not Pi. That has not ever been Pi's goal. That has been the goals of the crypto traders. Yeah. I mean, it's been going on ever since I've been here. Yeah. Because they're trying to hold that mentality, that deal. This is what Pi is going to do. And they haven't researched Pi. They don't know Pi. They think they know Pi. They think they know it from past experience. And they haven't taken the time to see what Pi is really about. They haven't taken the time to see what sets Pi apart from other projects. Okay? I mean, the first thing would be most of the projects that are out now are proof of work or proof of stake. And that's what most of them are built off of. Pi is built off of stellar consensus. Two different protocols. Right there should be the start of setting up the differences between the two. The protocols don't operate the same. And we'll get into mining and all that. I don't want to go there. But that should set the stage to say, hey, Pi's different. And if you take and you break it down, there are a lot of differences in Pi. Pi, for one, it's some of the issues with crypto today is, I think people are under a misconception of what decentralized system is, a decentralized project. Decentralized, the way I understand blockchain and how it, what makes crypto decentralized is the distributed ledger that is open to the public and held by all the nodes in that network hold a copy of that ledger, and that's what makes it decentralized. It's just decentralized ledger. All the nodes hold it. You can see it. You can get to it. Whatever it is, and they may start out semi-decentralized, but if you're working on a block reward or a staking reward, eventually, because of the way the reward system is, or the mining or whatever you call it, the way the system is, the nodes are competing for block reward. And when Bitcoin, when the node operators realized they could start hooking nodes together, the more nodes you had hooked together, the more you could mine Bitcoin, the more you could earn Bitcoin, and created farms. Now, farms became big operations. They pushed the little guys out. So, pretty much all the mining is done, or all the mining is done in Bitcoin, is done by these farms. Well, over time, they may be different operations, but China controls over 64%. I heard last I heard it was like 65%. China controls 65% of Bitcoin nodes. Well, that doesn't make the nodes decentralized. That makes the node centralized. If one country or one location controls 64%, that's not centralized. I mean, that's not decentralized. That's centralized. Because if they decide to get a wild hair up their butt, if you don't have nodes performing, to solve the puzzle, to put the next block in, to get to the consensus, to make their consensus, to build the block, and add it to the chain. If you have no nodes running, you have no blockchain. Yeah? Okay. So if China wanted, they could actually shut Bitcoin down if they want to. Yeah. If they shut all them nodes, there's not enough nodes to keep it running. Like Pi, and between Stellar Consensus Protocol and Byzantine, it's Byzantine something or other. Pi can stay running if a third of the nodes go down. Pi will still operate. Same with Stellar and Ripple and all. That's how the protocol is set up. So if you got the farms coming together, it creates a point of centralization for the nodes. Well, if you got the nodes coming together, it will create a point of centralization for the crypto that's producing. And last I heard, Bitcoin right now, 1 or 2% of the coin holders hold over 90% of Bitcoin that's been produced so far. Well, that means the coin is centralized. You have 1 or 2% that have 90% of it, what's been out already, that's centralized. Okay. They can influence the market. Yeah. If you got that kind of way out, they can influence the market. And from what I know of the space, when a whale starts when they start hearing some chatter about a whale getting ready to move, yeah, everybody that's in that coin lines up. I mean, they're ready to go, waiting on to see which way this guy's going or which way this whale's going, and they'll invest or do whatever accordingly to make their money. And in crypto today, it needs that volatility. That volatility is built in for trading on the exchange. Because if that volatility isn't there, nobody can make money. You need the swings to create an avenue to create an income. And it's all been created. It's all been created by. So, and most people don't believe it, want to believe it, want whatever. But that's fact. A whale makes a noise. They're all lining up, they're all, okay. Plus, it's been around long enough that it goes through cycles, and they have it all in their computer, and they have an idea of when it's going to do its thing. Okay? But when a whale goes to take it, and it only takes one, when a whale takes a swim, it will influence the price, depending on what he does. If he dumps his coins, it's going to dump the price of that coin down. If he's looking to buy, he's going to drive that price up. All controlled influence by that. And what makes it worse, or what makes the swings even worse, is he's doing it, and then you have the community of how many ever millions of people there are jumping on board one way or the other. So it's going to be exaggerated. That's the game. That's the game in crypto. And the easiest way for these guys to make their money, and big money, fast money, is getting new people to the project, new people to the crypto, whatever, to believe them that this is the way it's going to be. And by their speculations, the opening price of any crypto that I know that's come out has been diddly. I mean, we're talking under a dime, man. It's been single digits. And you can still see it, that they're speculating a lot of that in pie. And there's a lot of people who believe it. I mean, people are coming in every day. What's the value? When's it going to launch? What's it going to do? When can I say it? When can I withdraw? When can I withdraw? Okay. And because they don't know the whole picture. They're only seeing a little piece. I mean, anybody coming in looking for a value, when can we withdraw? When can we trade? When's it going to launch? When is it going to do all that? Okay. Really don't know the space. I'm venturing to guess they don't know a whole lot about the space. Because they're coming in with that, it's an unreal expectation of becoming millionaires overnight, like Bitcoin did back in 2011, 2012, 2013, when it got on the exchanges, got it moving and whatever it was, and it went through like its first cycle, and it made overnight millionaires and billionaires. And because Pi is what it is, and I don't know how it's being advertised or how it's being promoted by us going after referrals. It's probably a big part of it, because there has been no promotion, no advertising, no whatever. So it's all been word of mouth. And if I'm trying to get people signed up to my referral team to increase my Pi rate, I'll tell you anything I want to tell you. I mean, if you don't know, I'm going to tell you, not me, but the guys that are looking to get as much as they can as fast as they can. They'll tell people anything they want to hear, or get them to believe anything they want them to believe. Just get them to sign up. And these people come in, and they're under the impression that Pi is going to do what Bitcoin did in 2011, 2012, and make overnight millionaires. Pi's not designed that way. And that's another thing that people don't, because they don't read and see what it is. Okay? Pi, people are talking about Pi has no cap on its supply, and Pi this, Pi that. The supply's too big, and they ought to cut off mining because it's not going to create scarcity, and it's not going to do... Okay. For those projects, they're 100% right. For Pi, they are dead wrong. Okay? Because Pi is not looking to do the same as these are. Because Pi is after a totally different goal. I mean, the goal might be the same, but it's going about it a different way. And I haven't heard, like, the experts or whatever, talking on the outside, talking about Pi. The way it is. The way it's written, the way it's designed, the way it should be when it launches. Because, yeah, looking at Pi now, yeah, ain't much to look at. And that's where I'm having, because I'm not seeing where Pi should be to be at this stage getting ready to go live. I mean, we're like 2.5 months away from launch by Core's goal. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing my expectation of what Pi should be launching to the public. We are not the public. We are not the public. We are the community. And I know there's a lot of people, when we signed on, when we accepted that invitation, if you read the paperwork, when we accepted that invitation, we accepted a job at their conditions. And I hear, no, I didn't. I didn't come into work. I didn't come into, well, if you accepted the invitation and you're mining, then you did accept a job on their conditions. Because, I mean, right, Core has not lied to anybody. They have not hidden anything from anybody. They have not spread false information about their project. No, they haven't. Read the white paper. They haven't lied. They haven't done anything to the community, the Pi community. They laid it right up front in the FAQ in the white paper, right up front. But because it gets so overlooked, or doesn't get read, or not getting understood, because these guys know the space, they know what it's going to do, they already know it's another crypto. It's another crypto, and it's going to do what every other crypto has done in the past. Well, that's where they're off the mark and going down a different path than what Pi is doing, or what Pi is trying to accomplish. So, because Pi is still in beta and still in the developmental stage, we don't get the Pi earned until the job is completed. And everybody, it's in the white paper. At the start of phase 3, Core will honor our Pi accounts. Now, there's been a couple of things. Okay, it has to be a legit Pi account, and it has to be KYC. That's the legit part. I think it's been here since I've been here. KYC was added after I got here, and somebody's missing it. Core will honor a legit Pi account at phase 3 mainnet. It's all been overlooked, and it still gets overlooked today. I mean, that's one of the, when you read the first paragraph of the FAQ, it states Pi is not free money, and if you're looking for fast, quick money, Pi may not be for you. Nobody reads that first paragraph. Well, if you put pie is not free money. And Corps will honor it at the start of phase 3. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know, that we're not getting pie until we reach phase 3. There is no withdrawal. We own no pie. Well, if you read that and connect those two together, all of these other questions shouldn't be happening, because you should already know what's going on. I mean, that's not rocket science. That's not rocket science. Pie is not free money, and if you're looking for quick, fast money, pie may not be for you. Corps will honor pie, our pie, at the start of phase 3. Well, that means we get no pie between whenever we join and phase 3. It's not rocket science, but nobody reads it, nobody understands it, nobody listens to it. They don't listen to it today. I mean, it was even worse back then, when there was no blockchain running. I mean, anybody that knows crypto, if you have no blockchain running, you have no currency, you have no coin. You have to have a blockchain to get a currency or a coin. If you don't have one running, there is none. Okay. And people that know the space never even picked up on that or listened to that or whatever. Okay. Most people overlook the fact that Pi is in development, because projects that have come out before have already been built. And when they hit the public, they usually do an initial coin offering or what. They do something to get coins onto the exchange, into the market, and circulating. Because at that point, the only way you can get coins for that project is to buy them through an exchange. Okay. That's how they distribute the coins. And the market, the distribution base is pretty small. I mean, they sell whatever they are, and I'm not saying that they don't sell a lot of coins, whatever, and raise millions of dollars when they do their initial coin. But they're not to a level or a size that Pi is. And I think that also helps, I don't know what the word is, maybe shed the wrong light or disillusion people, because right now Pi is, we got to be close to 25 million people, active accounts, in 236 countries around the world. There's no other crypto like it. There's no other crypto like it, which should let you know that there's stuff different going on in Pi. And the way we are mining, earning, I mean, we're emulating, simulating being Pi miners. After 3 days and you build a security circle, we are simulating being a Pi miner. That's bottom line. If you read how Core classifies Pi miners, contributor and pioneer, that earns base mining rate. That is mining. Being active, filling those two roles, earns base mining rate. Yes, it's not on the block reward, but it's on the day. Right now it's on the hour. I mean, it rolls by the hour. When Pi goes live, it will be on the day. Yeah, you won't. The counter will be gone. Whatever. It won't be a counter. Once a day, we will actually get real Pi. Once we're in mainnet and we're live. It's in the white paper. It's written in the white paper. Because you can't see it in whatever's out today doesn't mean it's not happening or not going to happen. It's just you can't see it. Okay? That also shows setting Pi apart from what's already out there. And because they're distributing the coins that way, or doing airdrops, or doing bounties, whatever, I mean, they got the whole thing. That's how they distribute the coin. But the reach isn't to the scope that Pi is. And what people don't realize, yes, we are part of helping, or we should have been, or part of Pi development, helping it develop, helping the community develop, helping the economy develop, helping, and I know people say, no, yes, to earn the Pi we are getting, that was our job. And that still is our job. We still have a job to do. And I hope people start to realize and understand what's going on in pi, because starting value, buying power value, will be set by the community. Bottom line, because pi is looking to be a currency, looking to be a means of exchange to buy goods and services. That's pi's goal. Pi goal is not worrying about what it does on the exchange. Pi goal isn't even, exchange is a secondary market inside of pi economy. And that's also where I think people miss or get confused or not seeing or whatever. Okay? The way crypto trades today is only, I know they call it an economy and they call it this and they call it that and they call it whatever. It's not. It's not. Because the easiest way I think I can explain it is when you look at, and I'm from the U.S., so I'm going with the U.S. The U.S. economy isn't the stock market. Okay? If the dollar crashes, the stock market crashes, or if the stock market crashes, the dollar, okay, they're tied together. But the stock market is not the U.S. economy. No. How? Okay. It's a part of, and I'm not sure how big a part, but it's a major part of the overall economy. I mean, and I'm taking the overseas out of basic economy, because the overseas stuff is there's a lot of that's a different issue. But that is that is what makes up the U.S. economy, is the overseas trading, the domestic trading, stock market, the housing market, and crypto market. The crypto market is part of the U.S. economy. Okay, all of these make up the U.S. economy, but the biggest driver of the U.S. economy is the people, us, you, me, anybody here that has bought anything. Is what drives the U.S. economy. And as of late, I think the housing market is what has really, because it goes off of interest rates. And the biggest player in the interest rates is the housing market. Okay. I don't know how to get it. Okay. We drive the economy. And if we're not moving our money, taking the money that we have and moving it and spreading it out and passing it around and spending it, then I think our economy goes to a deflation side, because nobody is moving money. Now, whether it's the interest rates or whatever it is, and usually when we're not spending money, the interest rates come down to jumpstart things going again, to get the economy, to get those dollars or whatever, that money, to get it moving. If the money's not moving, you don't have an economy. Okay? And because the dollar's in the situation it is, they have to move big amounts. We have to move big amounts of money, because the U.S. dollar is in trouble, big trouble. Yeah, the Ponzi scheme is about to run out on their ass. Yeah, and yeah, the Ponzi scheme is about to run out because they can't cover it anymore. They can't cover. I mean, the Congress and Senate, I think they just voted to do away with the debt ceiling. So right now they're in their budget deal, and they have no ceiling on the debt. And I think the debt's up to like $42 trillion right now. I mean, it's high. Yeah, it's about yeah, this Ponzi scheme is about to collapse on it. Anyway, if we're not moving money, then the economy isn't moving. It's stagnant. It's not doing it. If the money's not moving, nobody can make money. So they lower the interest rate to get us to start spending. That's where all these stimulus checks are. We're getting a stimulus check because the economies aren't moving because of this lockdown and that's a whole different. Okay, But that's why they're giving out the stimulus checks. But people are also not looking at. The government is not going to give us free money. We're going to have to pay for it somewhere along the line. Somewhere, somehow, we are going to have to pay for the stimulus check that we're getting now. We will have to pay for it down the road. Count on it. Well, if it crashes, it probably won't matter. Okay. So, you got to get the money moving. Now, when too much money is moving, they raise the interest rates to slow us down. Yeah. We are the majority. The people are the majority. We are the ones that go to work every day, moving things around, buying things, selling things, whatever, every day. I know we got millionaires and billionaires and all that, but they're 1 or 2%. They don't affect the economy. They're a part of it, but you don't hear. You don't hear when Gates and Buffett and all these guys, all these investor names. You don't hear when they're moving. They're moving billions of dollars around all the time, getting in investments, buying companies, and doing all. They're moving big money, and it doesn't affect what we do. It's us, and that's the same thing in pie. The majority of pioneers are what drives pie economy, what will drive pie economy. Yes, because it basically it is a pure. How the distribution and how the coin has been gained to this point has been kind of on a pyramid, if you look at it that way, because the amount of people at the top were 1,000 people, earned at a higher rate, small group. Then the next halving was at 10,000. The group's a little bigger, still at the top. Okay, well, they earned it. All that earned at a higher rate, and it went down to the next level. Next level was 100,000. Well, now the base. Starting to base out. Earning. Everybody everybody's earning the same. But before the halving, anybody at that level was earning at a higher rate. It has everybody's earning the same rate, and that stretches out. When we get to the next halving, it gets bigger. Okay. We've already halved. Last one was what? 1 million people? 1 million people? 10 million people. 10 million, I think. I don't know. But it's already halved down. And each layer has gotten bigger. We are at 25 million people earning at the rate we're earning now. And when we go to mainnet, it's going to half again. And wherever we're at between the last halving and mainnet is going to be that. Okay? Then we get to mainnet and it halves again, and we start building that lower base. That lower base is earning at the lower rate. They are the ones that are going to be driving the economy. Oh, the next level of everything. Because they are, coming down and you had 10 million people, and now we're at 25. That means there's 15 million people in that level that are earning at the rate it is now, which is lower. The stack that they have is lower than the ones above. Now, the referral rewards is a leveler to that, because if you have whatever, you can build. If you can build an earning team, big earning team, and they're active, you can catch up on pie, and you can catch up to the level before it. I don't know whether you can get to the one before that. Maybe, depending on how many referrals and how many they're active and whatever, you could get up. So that is the leveler to all of that. Well, when we had wherever we're at, because I'm figuring by December we could be close to 30, 40 million people. That is the majority of pie. Because you're looking at 20, 30 million people. We don't have that many in the level above. They hold the least amount of pie, or they're balanced. They have the least balances, but as a majority, they hold the most amount of pie. Okay, They are the ones that are that drive the economy, not everybody above. We are a part of, but they drive it. And as we get farther out, that base is getting bigger, and they have less pie, less accumulated pie. That's what drives the economy. So, looking at the exchange and stuff like that, no, because it's whatever that exchange price is way too low. Way too low. Because what you have to think about and have to look at when you're thinking about value, buying power value, you have to look at a lot of different markers, a lot of different stuff than what they do on the exchange. Exchanges, to start out, supply, circulating supply, whatever, they put it in, they come out, and boom, it comes out with a number. And that's what that coin starts trading at. And it's trading. So it's being bought and sold. It's not physically changing hands. Like, I buy something from you, I give you pie, then you're going to buy, you take that pie and use it and buy something else, and then they'll take that pie and buy something else, whatever. And the value that each of us gets is the same. So if I give you one pie and we say it's worth $10, then you take it to somebody else and you can trade it in and get what you want and it's worth $10. They can take it to the next place and get what they want and it's worth $10. That's an economy. Changing hands as often as this coin can, as often as this currency can change hands between us, is what makes it strong. Trading on the exchange, you're not really trading hand to hand. You're trading, I'm selling at this price, and somebody's going to be buying at that price. You put in a buy and sell order, and that's how that transaction happens. And he's speculating on whatever it is, or however it goes. It's speculating on whatever price I gave for that coin. I'm speculating that somebody is going to want to buy it at a higher price. Somewhere down the road, somebody's going to want to buy it at a higher price. That's what I'm speculating on. Well, that's not an economy. That's trading. Trading is part of an economy. So, that's where pie sets apart. So, when we're thinking about pie value, we need to be thinking about the last group of pioneers that came in for that day. Because they are the ones that have the least amount of pie. They are the ones that have to be able to use their pie, to spend their pie, and not wipe them out. And anybody that's talking towards the exchange, you've got pie value too low. Because if they can't use it, if the majority of people in the community can't use the pie they have, then pie won't survive, man. Pie won't survive. For all of the reasons that you've stated to this point. Supply's too big, this is too big, okay, and there's no scarcity and all, okay. That, you're right. You're right. And if pie were on the exchange, you would be 100% right. But because pie's not on the exchange, and pie is looking to be a currency, you are dead wrong when it comes to pie. Pie needs those coins. I don't think pie supply is big enough to do or to get the reach that pie is capable of. I don't think there's enough pie. I don't care how far you fraction it out. There's not enough pie. Because there's pie allocated up to 100 million slots in pie. There's bulk pie allocated for those slots. From 100 million to a billion, mining reward should be down to like, it's either 0.05 or 0.25 or something, 0.025 or something. Mining rate is real low when we get out there. So, up to 100 million people, that is the cap of pie or whatever it is. But supply and circulation doesn't really matter. Because as a currency, as money, the more that's out there, the more stable the coin is. I know people are looking at inflationary and deflationary and all that. I don't think the inflationary and deflationary affect pie much, because the inflationary and deflationary, the way we know it now, is set up by the interest. That's what controls it. People are they're either borrowing too much or not borrowing enough. That's what controls the inflation and deflation. Plus, now see, printing money devalues the money. So you need more money to buy the same thing. That's devaluation. That's not inflation or deflation. Two different things, man. Two different things. And I don't think the way pie is set up that it's subject as much to those factors. So they don't really play in a lot. What plays in is us. And following the models that are currently out, value on pie is too low. Because if they don't use it and don't want to use it and can't use it, you're cutting out the majority of people that pie needs for the community. So, here's where it comes in, because most of you see my video. You know where I stand on what I think pie value should be, and why I think it should be. Because if we're looking at the last pioneer coming in, and they need to use their pie, and they need to use it at a value that they're willing to use it because they have such little pie. So if they only have 5 or 10 pie, 5 or 10 pie, and pie is valued where down low where people say it should be, then they can't use it, or they're going to have they can't use it because they don't have enough pie to buy a $20 item. They don't. And where the mining rate is and all that other stuff, they can't build it fast enough or recover it fast enough. So it makes pie useless to them. And if pie is useless to them, most likely they'll stop. They'll stop mining. They'll stop. Because if they can't use it, if they come in like now, I mean, look at it now. People come in now and they get all upset because they can't withdraw it, they can't do whatever. Once pie is live, and that goes on, we will lose a lot of pioneers, and that will hurt pie, and that we may not be able to recover from. So, pie has to start out at least $100 for them to be able to use their pie. The biggest thing is them wanting to use their pie. People need to want to use it. If you want to use, if you wanting to use it, you're comfortable with using it. Game over. Game over. Because once you're willing to want to use it, it becomes okay. That's what I'm. Yeah. And when you know you're getting decent value, you'll spend it. You'll spend it. We're just starting out, so it may be just stuff we need. I mean, get to the basics. Just covering your needs. But I want to make my money. I want to make my money. Pie's not about it. Pie's not about selling on the exchange, because what people don't understand, we are at ground level. Anybody that is setting up a business right now, when pie goes live, if everything is in line and you're not too greedy or not whatever, will be the millionaires and whatever it is of tomorrow. Yeah. All you gotta do is look back in U.S. history. Yeah. When Industrial Revolution, when those guys, when the big boys, big names, big whatever, most of them started out like we are, flat broke, living in whatever, and made their fortunes. off of. There's a problem. They found a solution, and it was a solution that went across everybody. That's how they made it. People that are opening businesses right now, whether they're selling goods or services, whatever, will be in a position to be those people at the moment. Yeah. If they have the right product, the right price, or whatever, that if they have a solution to a problem that affects everybody at a fair value, that's where people are going to end up going and spending their pie. Yeah. That's what it is, man. And most people don't realize because they're all stuck on the exchange. And so getting them to want to use their pie and spend their pie, and granted, going in, there may not be a lot of stuff going on. We're just starting out. And it will grow over time. It will. And I have my opinion on whatever. So if people are wanting to spend their pie, and yes, right now we don't have enough places or locations to service 25 million people. No, we don't, because of the community. Yeah. You can blame yourself for not having enough locations to accommodate what we have. Yeah. Because, and I've talked about this before, and I'm not going to beat a dead horse, and I'm getting late. I've laid into this one. Because by all rights, the in-app transfer pilot shouldn't be an in-app transfer pilot anymore. It should be an in-app transfer running on testnet. All of this should have scaled. All of this should have scaled and adjusted and sorted itself out. So when Pi was ready to go live, it was a no-brainer. We're already using it, already doing it, already had it comfortable, already had the currency leveled out and stable at a value. A value. Okay. A workable, acceptable, usable, trustable value. And with an economy of 25 million people, moving Pi creates demand automatically. Automatically. We don't have to worry about demand. We don't. All we have to do is show and prove what Pi can do. Demand will be there. I mean, I've been hearing that investors are lined up just waiting to be able to buy Pi. Well, because they don't want to mine the way it is. They're going to wait because they're thinking that Pi is going to come in at a low value, people are going to dump, and they're going to scoop up whatever Pi they can, as much as they can. They're already out there. Yeah, we don't want them in here. We want them to stay out there. Just stay out there. Yeah. Okay? Because Pi is the community. Pi doesn't need outside investors. If it did, the ads wouldn't have gone in place to cover the cost of the project to this point. The Corps would have looked for outside investors. They didn't. We chose the ads to fund the project to get it to this point. And everybody's saying how much money, or I'm hearing how much money Corps making off the ads, and they're raping us and keeping it all for themselves. Sad. Sad. Just sad. Okay. Because everybody says the currency needs, or the coin needs liquidity and whatever it is, and we got this amount of Pi and whatever, and there's going to be a huge pool of liquidity. Well, them ads probably paid for a big part of that liquidity. So, don't go there on liquidity. Don't. Okay. The last group coming in needs to be able to use their Pi. Then, the store owners, the ones supplying goods, need to be okay and accept at that value. Whatever goods and services they're selling, most of the goods, whatever goods they're selling, they have to be willing to accept Pi at that whatever that value is. If they don't like, I mean, whoever's selling goods, they have the final say in, well, kind of the final say in what Pi value would be. If they want more Pi, they're going to lower the value, like say $10. which is going to cost more pie to get whatever their good is. So they're going to be collecting more pie, knowing that pie will be raising in the future. Yeah. So if they're willing to accept at $100 a pie, don't kick them. Go with it, because that's value for us. That is. All right. If they're offering $1, they're offering $10, and somebody's offering $100, where are you getting the best value? Where are you going to go shopping at? Yeah, the $1 place. Okay, go ahead. No, you're going to end up at the $100 place. So, over time, which should have already happened, whatever the differing values were or are, the more we got into it, the more we got would have settled or would have come up. They can't do anything but they would have come up to at least $100, and then at that point, at the community, depending on where we're at and where it lives, may have taken it up a little more. But the $100 is a good starting point because it's reachable, and pie is to be reachable. So at $100, they can use their pie. They're going to be willing to use their pie, and they're accepting it. That's what the pilots. That's the job the pilots had when they started their deal, was to get pie economy going. And because of what transpired, and yeah, what transpired in that transfer pilot. One, shut the door. Then, community locked it, because the Corps knew the first chance somebody got to get the feature to be able to actually transfer pie, they'd have tried to sell or turn it into gift cards or whatever. They'd have turned it into cash, and they'd have killed the project. The Corps couldn't take a chance. So they shut the door, community locked it. And it personally, it stunned where pie should be at. Because we shouldn't even have this conversation right now, because it should have already happened. But people didn't understand or realize what was going on back then. They still don't. The majority of them still don't. And so when it comes to setting pie value or dealing with pie value, follow your heart, follow your whatever. But you need to think about these people over here. You don't think about these pioneers over here, you won't set the value high enough. And if you don't set the value high enough, by not setting it high enough, you're taking money out of everybody's pocket, including yours. Including yours. The lower pie value comes in, the more money we are losing. And if you give up that much real estate, we may never get it back. We're better off starting high and coming down if we need to, which I don't think we'll need to. Starting high and then adjusting from there. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk about, well, we have to be able to sell it because they have to resupply their goods and all. That's not our issue. That's not our issue. Thank you for thinking about them, but that's not our issue. That's on them. Okay? If they're willing to risk, if they're willing to go out on the limb, willing to do for pie, for the community, for us, we ought to thank them and go, okay, we will. Because that's where pie needs to be. And the more transactions, the more pie's moving between all of us, you're giving pie and I'm giving pie and they're giving pie and they're doing it, okay, the more that one pie is moving, the stronger the economy gets. The more it's moving, the stronger it gets. It's not tied to anything. It doesn't have to be tied to anything. The dollar bill is not tied to anything. It doesn't have gold backing it up. It doesn't have anything backing it up. We trust the government, so we trust the bill. Plus, we have no other alternative or option to use this money. We have to use what they say. Pie is looking to give us an alternative, that we don't have to use what they say. We can use what we have. Gets us out from underneath central bank. Puts it here, keeps more money in our pocket. So, as a community, we got it set I mean, it's moving, it's doing, and we're accepting, trusting, doing whatever. Pie is designed to be stable. That's why the supply is so big. Doesn't matter how much we move. Okay, any whale, because we're not talking about cash value yet. We can't sell a pie for $100. We can only use it to trade for goods and services. So there are no whales. I mean, yes, they have buying power, but there are no whales yet that can influence anything. They can't influence anything. All they can buy, and if they got they can buy and sell like the rest of it. I mean, it doesn't matter. And I know there's people out there that have millions of pie. There are some whales out there, big whales, yeah. And those big whales are looking to cash in to make big money. Not a doubt. Not a doubt. Okay. They're also the ones that are trying to hold pie down. Yeah. I know a few of them. Okay. But that's not pie. And what supports that value? The value is supported by the protocol, by Pi app. We are the first responders, first line of supporting that value. If we accept it, use it, trust it, and moving with it, and it's moving, that's it. I mean, that is that value. That value can be. What's going to support it, or what on the outside that sees that supporting of that value, is everything else that's underneath. Blockchain, the protocol, the distribution of Pi, the distribution of the nodes. Okay. Pi will be one of the only 100, well, I don't know about 100, because there's some questions that are going to come up, because we're talking about some big pools of stuff that are going to come up down the road. But Pi, from what I know, Pi will be the only project that I know that will be at least 85 or 90% totally decentralized with no points of concentration. Yeah, there's no points of concentration. Because the way it's set up and designed. One person, one account, one mobile device, one node. So you can't run multiple nodes. You can't connect together with multiple nodes. And we're not on the block reward. We are on the mining for the roles we play. So even if you're running a node, the mining rate is what it is. We all get paid the same once a day. Or yeah, as far as base mining rate, we all get the same once a day. Okay. Then referral reward, depending on how many people you have and whatever your chunk of that is, then we all get our own reward once a day. So I'm sure they'll come in at the same time. So once a day, we will get a chunk of pie. All of us, everybody, for the rest of our life. Okay. So even if you don't do anything, you don't open a business, you don't whatever, you got a little chunk of pie coming in every day. That's a step to financial freedom. You have an income that you don't have to worry, like a passive income. It comes in every day. And we have a place to use it. That's a benefit that Pi is returning to the community, or to get it from the community. So, no points of concentration from the currency, no points of concentration from the node. The ledger is distributed. Distribution of the coin is as fair and as even as it can. So there's no way that anything can concentrate. And that's pissing people off out there. That's where investors, that's why Pi doesn't want investors. That's why it doesn't need investors. Because as soon as you bring investors in, then they control Pi. Because they want return on their investment. So they say what direction Pi's going to go and what we're going to do and all that. No, that ain't what Pi's about. That ain't what Pi's about. Core has built Pi for us to take back some of the control, some of the stuff that they have taken away from us. Yes. Yes, that's why when people are talking Musk and Gates and all this, and all these big investors and all these people that want to come in and invest, there's nothing to invest in. There's nothing that they can invest in that they can control. Unless we give it to them. And that would be real dumb. I mean, and I think that's probably part of why I get upset at times. Because people are just willing to give it away. They're willing to give money out of our pocket away. Just willing to do it blindly, because that's what they believe, that's the way it is, because somebody's told them that's the way it is. Well, if CORE is giving the community a chance, second chance, because Bitcoin could have done it the first time around. Bitcoin should have done it the first time around. But the same people that did what they did to Bitcoin are trying to do the same thing to Pi, because they don't see it. They didn't see it then, and they're having a hard time seeing it now. Okay. If CORE is giving us a chance to use a currency, create a currency, a coin, that we can use around the world 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whatever it is, that we can use and want to use and are doing it, that breaks us away from the dollar. I mean, it breaks us away from the dollar to a point. I mean, now we have choices. We have a choice. We can play in both worlds, man. Because Pi never said it was going to make anybody rich or retire anybody or do whatever it is. Pi is offering us an addition to what we already have. So, if you have X amount of income and you're getting X amount of Pi, then add that to your income. Well, if it bumps you up, whatever bumps you up, it's an increase to what you have, and the work's not hard, man. The work's not hard. So, with the added income, and if we have a place to use it, and we have fair, yes, I'm sure most of us could probably cut 20, 30, 40% off of our monthly bills. Yeah, if not, right off jump, it won't be too far. Because once Pi is live, and we have more opportunity to do it, then you'll see more stuff come in. And no, it's not to push to the outside yet. Because there is no sellable product to take to Wendy's or McDonald's or Walmart or Target or any place. We don't have a sellable product. Bitcoin and all these others can do it because they've been around as long as they have. People know the name. People kind of understand, but they don't. I did some research into locations, because everybody said, yeah, it's being used, and it's doing this, and okay. Online, maybe, and that's iffy. Brick and mortar places, so-so. But out of the list of locations that are accepting any form of crypto, that list changes daily. Companies going off the list and coming on the list, and going off and coming on and doing whatever, because they can't use it. It's not reliable enough to use. Because if you're dealing in Bitcoin, and you go in and you buy something, and when you go in, it's at, I don't know, just for easy numbers, 10,000 a coin or whatever, and you get in, and the price, and okay, so you're going to give X amount of Bitcoin for the item that you're going to buy at $10,000, what they consider value, exchange price. Well, by the time you get to the car, it went to $15,000. I mean, somebody gave too much for what has been bought. Or if it goes the other way, somebody's given too little. So, in that transaction, in 30 minutes, from that transaction, in 30 minutes, somebody can gain or lose money, big money. Big business, they can't operate like that. They can't. Because when you're talking $1 million deal, and you're using $1 million worth of Bitcoin, and it changes in 30 minutes, you're losing a lot of money. Somebody's losing a lot of money, somebody's gaining a lot of money. And you think in the business world that whoever made the gain is going to give it back to the one that had the loss? Hell no. It's his now. He's not going to get it back. And if you owe somebody, they're going to expect you to bump it up and pay that bill because you owe them. Yeah, it's a no-win situation. In a currency that's that volatile, it can't be used. I mean, it can probably be used for big business like gold is, but for everyday transactions, no. There's too much profit and loss that plays outside. A business can't run like that. I mean, a business can't run like that and stay in business long. So that's why a lot of these places are up and down the list. Yes, now they might be using it a lot online. It still has a home down on the dark web, but I think Monroe's taking that over. Anyway, so we don't have a saleable product yet. Once Pi's live, and we're moving into the economy, and we're stabling that coin out, and we're keeping it reasonable, okay, and usable, whatever. Well, 6 months, 9 months, a year maybe. I would say somewhere between 6 and 9 months, we will have a saleable product. Because if it's stable, trustable, usable, accessible, and whatever, and we got transactions loading up, and we got more stores in the community, and we got more places from the community that we can go to that people outside the community can see, and we can back it up with, here's our transaction record, here's this, and here's this, and you know, we started this value, and 6 months down the road, we're still at that value. They'll take notice. They won't have a problem accepting Pi. That's where I think Pi supply is too small. Because once we start to reach outside the community, and we start doing business with other places, we don't have enough Pi. I don't care how many decimal points, but we don't have enough Pi. So, I don't know. I mean, it will play. I'm sure it will play. Because the world has never seen. The world knows what crypto is today. They're leery of it. It has a bad reputation. It's not easy to use for business. Yes, it's getting easier and it's getting more stable and whatever, but it's not where it needs to be. But thank you, because they opened the door for everybody coming behind. If they're already accepting something that is iffy, and we show them a product that is 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times better than what they're accepting now, that they can trust, use, they can rely on, they can work it into their business plan, yeah, they'll accept it. That will open up what we can do. We just have to get it there. Until we can prove it, it's not worth it. I mean, it's beating down doors and doing all this stuff, because we have nothing to show. We have nothing to prove. Nothing. I mean, not yet. It's brand new. We are brand new out of the box, setting it up. See? That's how I see Pi. Well, what about the change? What about the change? Well, we can get there now, because we've already established value, workable value, and all of the protocol, the dApps, and all that stuff that is what makes Pi. What makes Pi. That's what supports the value. That is the foundation. That is the foundation. And as long as that foundation is solid, and we do ours to contribute to it, Pi will be solid. Yeah, nothing like it. There's no points of centralization between nodes, coin, whatever it is. It's fairly distributed every day. Okay, what more do you want? That's a saleable product. Now, Ben talked about node rewards, and people are all over the place on it. Personally, I think burning of any Pi is a bad idea, because anytime you start taking out of the economy, you'll get to a point to where the price will either get way out of hand and it won't be reachable, and it won't be usable anymore. It won't, in my opinion, because if Pi gets to a Bitcoin level, $20,000, $30,000, you can't use it. We couldn't use it for everyday transactions. Pi's built for everyday transactions. That's what it's meant to do. Yeah. And with it being stable, you see, there on the exchange, there is no pie on the exchange until we as a community decide, or whatever it is, whoever decides to sell, that's when pie gets on the exchange. And whoever decides to sell, if you decide to sell at pennies, it's on you, man. It's on you. Because one or two isn't going to affect a whole lot. You're going to be the only one losing money because it's not going to affect anything over here. If we as a community put our sell order in at value level, and people see what's going on and happening, whatever, demand is there. Demand will be there. Somebody will pay that price. And as soon as they pay that price, then value and price are together. Because once pie is on the market will take over and pie will follow the fluctuations of the market. All we're doing is setting a starting point. That's all we're doing. We're just setting a starting point. The market will take it off after that. And these guys that were looking to make money on the dump and all, and the ones that are looking to make money off of the swings and stuff, sure. Because pie will be an investment. Looking at it from that, will be an investment that will gain over time. Yes, it's going to fluctuate, but it's going to gain over time. It's just steadily going to gain over time. Crypto traders aren't going to like it because it's not doing what they needed to do to make money the way they make money. They're not going to like it. No. So, even if it does go to the exchange, it really doesn't matter. And the whale's in here, so what? It doesn't matter because pie is big enough, the supply is big enough. You want to sell off what you want to sell because the exchange is only part of pie economy. That's their sandbox. If they want to play in it, let them play in it. It won't affect value. It won't affect price. Because you're still going to have the same amount of trading volume, and people, if pie is not fluctuating, there's nothing to speculate on. It's all going to be steady over time. Well, there's not going to be a whole lot of trading going on, probably. Yeah. Now, there may be more buying to be able to use, which is a good thing. Which, again, supply and demand is there. It will be there. It will drive the price. All we're doing is setting a starting price. It will be there. Guaranteed. I mean, I know I'm totally all wet and don't know what I'm talking about. Don't have a clue or whatever. I don't know economics or I don't know nothing about money. Whatever it is. All right. We follow your path, we will kill this project. That I do know. Okay. So it's not rocket science. Pencil it out, write it out. Look at what, okay? Look at how many people here, what they got, how much pie they got, and look at what it's going to take and the different values of how much pie they're going to need to spend to do this and that and whatever it is. Okay? And if we hold our position, the people that are selling goods will be able to recover. Will be able to recover what they and resupply their shelves and whatever. If we hold our ground and make it what it is. If we give up value, like I say, it's taking it out of everybody's pocket, and it's especially taking it out of the ones that have provided goods. Yeah. Because now they're looking at pie at X amount of day, and if it's lower than that, then they're losing money. They're losing money, and you're taking it and you're hurting them the worst. Yeah. And they're the ones taking the biggest risk to get us going. Think about them too. Now, I know I'm old again. The thinking of the lower value of pie is about being able to recover their costs, and be able to resupply their goods, and I don't think anybody's going to come in and buy out one whole shot and whatever, and that. Gotta keep it real too. I mean, yeah, anyway. Core Pi has given us this chance to get out from underneath central bank, out from underneath to get the government that controls what we do now. And something else to keep in mind. Right now in the U.S., any transaction at $10,000 or more gets reported to the government because of terrorist operations and, you know, and money laundering and all that. No. It's about keeping track of the money and what we're doing with it, where it's at. They want to know. If it's over $10,000, they want to know. Okay. I heard there's a bill coming up that they're looking to drop that to $600. That means any transaction over $600, you have to fill out a form and do whatever it is, and it gets reported to the government if that passes. And the way things are going and how things are, and the bill they got it tagged onto and stuff, it'll probably go through. It wouldn't surprise me. And it won't even surprise me that nobody's going to complain about it. They'll whine and cry a little bit, but it'll be what it is. Because we're to a point we just keep giving more and more and more. Pi is giving us an opportunity to take some of that back. Because we can make transactions. It's ours. Nobody can get to it. It's ours. It's in our pocket. We can keep it in our pocket. Okay? Because when you get to the exchange, that's a whole different deal. But if we hold our ground and don't sell until somebody's willing to pay value, that will become the price on the exchange, and that will be where the exchange starts. And when you have the exchange price and value at the same, then you have a true value on the currency. We got the support to back it up, and we got the support already there. The demand is already there. Everything lines up, and we get control back. It's not saying screw you, government. Well, it is kind of, but we have an alternative. If the dollar crashes or whatever it is, we still have a means of exchange to buy goods and services. We won't be in the same condition that others will be that can't. Because when the dollar crashes, and if you got money in the bank, it'd probably be good and just pull it out and put it in something. Because when the dollar crashes and they close the banks, you have any money in the bank, you don't have any money anymore. They took it. One, you can't get to it, and two, they'll probably take it. Yeah. So you have money. If you have money in the bank, most likely, if the dollar crashes, and it's not that far off, I don't think. If you have any money in the bank, because if you look back in American history, the Great Depression, when it first hit, those that could get into the bank got some of their money, because I think they restricted on how much you could take out, because there wasn't enough money to cover the amount needed for the people that had money in the bank. And I think they restricted the amount of money you could take out, and it was only like a day or so later they shut the banks. They shut the bank, and they couldn't get in. Yeah. And the same thing's going to happen now, and it's going to be even worse, because it's taking so many dollars to do the same thing. I mean, back then, you know, a dollar went somewhere. You could buy a lot of stuff with a buck. Now, you go into the grocery store, you can't get out of the grocery store for $100. You go get burgers, you can't get out of it for less than 30. Okay? Yeah, no. So when that happens, and anything, because everything is pegged to the dollar. Bitcoin is pegged to the dollar. Okay? If the dollar crashes, what's Bitcoin worth? It only trades on the exchange. Nobody has any money to buy and sell shit. What is the value of Bitcoin then? What? Nobody. Okay. We've got a currency that is working, functioning, moving. It doesn't matter what the exchange does. It's moving and doing inside. And I know I'm getting out there on this one, but it's what's possible. If the dollar crashes and our economy is moving and our currency is moving, all these businesses that are out there, all these vendors and suppliers and stuff that have stuff in their warehouses can't move it anywhere. Nobody can pay for it. Opens up another opportunity for pie. You don't think vendors would be willing to take the currency moving, that's working, operating, whatever, and has a user base of, who knows, 30, 40, 50 million people, 60 million people? Yes, vendors will be, yeah. You gotta look past, man. You gotta look out beyond today. And anybody that is in setting up a business today will be the money of tomorrow. So, anyway, I know I try to keep something, but it ain't happening. So, you just gotta think about, somebody other than yourself. I mean, it's what the bottom line comes down to. You have to think about what's going on, who's involved, who's risking, who's short and need. You have to think about others and what's going on. Okay? Because we don't need to think about the businesses recovering their cost to supply goods. They've already thought about it. That's not on us. That's on them. They're willing to risk. We just have to do our part and support that risk to make that risk to where it's not a risk. Okay. That's our part. And if you haven't seen it by now, what the possibility is, or what pie goal is, I don't know what to tell you after that. I mean, if you can't see the benefits of what the project is, what the protocol is, what the possibility of is, pie is, and that's where people haven't looked at pie and the others. I just pointed out 90% of what makes pie different than the rest, and what makes pie special, what makes it different, what makes it over the top. Next gen. So it's just taking the next step in the evolution of digital currency. That's all it did. We don't have to be in competition with anybody. No. We don't have to be compared to anybody. Because pie, now with the NFT and non-fungible tokens and the DeFi, those all came out after Pi launched initially phase 1. Now, I have my opinion on DeFi, but the non-fungible tokens, Pi should be able to support that once we're up and running and doing our thing. I know Core is aware of them, knows about them, because they came out after Pi launched, and they weren't thought about when Pi was being written. So I do believe there will be some way to support non-fungible tokens. Now the DeFi, it is what it is, and I know it's going to be what it's going to be, and I'm not real crazy about it. I'm not real accepting of it, because all it's doing is trading the system that we use today in the analog or whatever world it is. The system today, and they have just moved it into crypto. Because DeFi is decentralized banking, basically decentralized finance, or whatever it is. When the system of today is pretty much built on debt, built on the ability to pay, built on borrowing, that's banking. That's the system we use today. If you deal in cash and you deal straight up and you don't have a credit score, you can't make a major purchase. Without a credit score, you can't make a major purchase. You can do ins and outs of daily stuff, unless you can do it straight across with somebody, like selling a car or selling a house or whatever. Unless you can do it straight across and you have the money straight across, you can't buy those things. without a credit score. I know for a fact. I'm dealing cash, and I have no credit score. So, okay. But when you start dealing in credit, you start dealing in interest. When you start dealing in interest, that means that interest is going to somebody's pocket. That means they're driving that interest to increase their profit in their pocket. That's the system we're in today. Well, it's capitalism, it's doing, it's whatever. Okay. Look at the shape the system is in. We've known for a long time the system's broken. We've known for a long time the system's broken. I believe decentralized finance goes against what crypto was designed for and to do. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's how I believe it. Because crypto and blockchain is a cash system. Cash in, cash out. If you don't have it, the blockchain won't let the transaction happen. If you don't have enough to cover that transaction, the blockchain won't let that transaction happen. When you start talking credit, then people are outside their means. They're living outside their means. They're borrowing money to do something they want to do. And if you look into credit card debt and credit, and I've been there, I've done it, and whatever. People are living outside their means. Most people have ungodly amount of money borrowed. House, car, whatever. Just their normal day in, day out credit card transaction. It's all put on a credit card or whatever. Well, that debt, the money they borrowed, the interest paid on it, is, okay. Crypto, I think, was designed to keep people within inside their means. You don't have it, you can't use it, you can't spend it, it won't. So, okay. And I think that also drove how the exchanges worked. I do. I think it was because nobody could make the money they wanted to make or needed, whatever it is. So they figured out a way to make it do it. Yeah. And it created a lot of overnight millionaires, and I don't know about billionaires, whatever. But it created a lot of wealth for a lot of people real quick, overnight. But on that flip side, it also put a lot of people in the bore out. People bought. If somebody's winning, if somebody's gaining and winning, that means somebody is giving up what they have for them to do that. So there were as many losers, or people that, I don't want to say losers, there are as many people that didn't make the income, didn't make the millions overnight, and ended up back with nothing. And I think a lot of those are here in Pi too. Yeah. Anyway, so like I said, I just think decentralized finance is decentralized banking. Yes, it changes because it gets things out of centrally controlled and whatever. But as soon as you start making loans and there's interest involved, greed is involved. And when greed is involved, yeah, it may take 100 years or whatever, a couple hundred years or whatever to get to a point. But yes, you do that, a lot of money can be made and all this other stuff. But it's usually at screwing somebody else. It's usually, yeah, because when you're paying interest, you're paying 2 or 3 times more than what the item was originally. So you end up giving more, they end up getting more in their pocket, and all this, and then we get into that whole cycle of when you start talking credit. Now you're starting to talk inflation and deflation, because that borrowing is what drives all that. If you're not borrowing, then that doesn't happen. So, but we'll see how that plays out down the road. But that's my opinion on decentralized finance. So anyway, I'm back along again. All right, guys, I'm out.